Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. If there is one thing in common in this world that all living beings search for, that is the happiness. We all like to be happy. We all seek happiness in this world. If I ask from you, would you like to be happy in your life? What will be your answer? You will say, of course, I want to be happy in my life. I want this peaceful state. I need to be in that. That is your answer. That is the answer of all living beings. Buddha says that all living beings likes to be happy and they seek the happiness. If you really think about our life, we are in a never-ending journey of pursuing happiness. Let me tell that again. We are in a never-ending journey of pursuing happiness. That means we are pursuing happiness, we are chasing and we are seeking for happiness, but yet we have not found it. So, what is the reason for this not finding happiness? Why we don't find happiness in our life? We are seeking it, we are finding for it, but we don't find it. What is the reason? Well, the Buddha teaches us that we are finding or we are seeking this happiness from a source that the happiness does not exist. Because we are seeking happiness from external world. We are seeking happiness from these materialistic things. Well, when you seek happiness from materialistic things or external world, you get pleasure, but that is not happiness. Pleasure is something temporary and it gives you this instant gratification. But in happiness, the happiness is long-lasting and it gives you this happiness or the contentment about yourself. So that is why Buddha teaches us that you're finding the happiness from a source where the happiness does not exist. So the more you find it, the more you become frustrated. So, will we ever be able to find happiness in our life? The Buddha answers this question. He says, yes, you can find happiness in your life. How to do that? If you look closely to the first and the second verses of Dhammapada, Buddha says, if one with an impure mind speaks or acts, the suffering will follow him like a cart wheel following the ox. If with an impure mind one speaks or acts, the suffering will follow him. And in the next verse, Buddha says, if with a pure mind one speaks or acts, the happiness will follow him like a shadow following a man. So that means the happiness and the sadness entirely depends on the purity and the impurity of our mind. When our mind is pure, we can find the happiness. So, how can we find or how can we gain this purity in our mind in order to find the happiness? Well, Buddha teaches us there are a lot of things that you can do to make your mind pure. So today, I'm going to share with you a few things that can give you the happiness in your life, that you can find the happiness in your life. First thing, accepting the reality of life will give you the happiness. You know, life is full of ups and downs. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes we have bad days, sometimes we have beautiful memories, sometimes we also have miserable memories. So life is not something that is going equally every day. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. When you realize this reality, you can face these situations successfully, right? It is not always this bad experience makes us frustrated. It is our reaction towards this bad experience makes us frustrated. Whenever you get a bad experience or a bad day or a bad situation, tough situation, difficult situation, you have two choices. Either you can focus on the pain and feel miserable about that situation, or you can focus on the lesson that bad situation teaches us and learn from it and start growing your life. So, if you accept the reality of life, it is not temporary. Sometimes the people around us are not in our control. We cannot control their reactions. We cannot control their opinions. So when you realize these situations, you can face those situations successfully. That is one thing, accepting reality of the life. Number 2, Buddha said, be generous. Practicing generosity is a major practice in Buddhism. Well, in Buddhism, the generosity is known as dana. In dana, Buddha says that you have to give without any expectations. We have to give and we have to dedicate towards others without expecting anything in return. That is one thing that we have to practice. Most of the time, we like to hold on to things or gather the things towards us. That is what people think. When you gather more, when you collect more things, you will get rich and you will gain happiness. But that does not give you the happiness. It will give you the pleasure, but it is temporary. So what we have to do, Buddha says, be generous, give, help others, dedicate a part of your life on behalf of others. When you do that, when you become more generous, let's say like this, you gave some foods to a poor person, let's say like that. When you see that person is having those foods and overcoming his hunger and making his life much better, you can be happy by seeing that. When you become happy like that, you feel happy about yourself, right? Nothing can give you that happiness. Like by eating a good food, by dressing a nice dress, you cannot gain that happiness. You don't feel happy about yourself, right? Let's say after hundred of years later, maybe 10 decades later, when you think about that incident, I gave this food to this poor person. When you remind that, you feel happy. Even then you feel happy. That means happiness is long-lasting. So Buddha says, be generous, help people, do something nice every day for a person. That is one thing we can do. And number 3, forgiving. Forgiving is one of the most important things that we can do to create happiness in our life. We have to forgive ourselves. Also, we have to forgive others too. Because forgiving, when you forgive, it doesn't mean that you are saying okay to others' mistakes. It's okay. No, you're not saying like that. When you forgive, you make your heart free. So when you forgive, it's not for that person, it is for you. And also we have to forgive for ourselves. There are so many mistakes that we all have done in the past. If you hold on to past, and if you make this present moment miserable, that will not give you the happiness. So what do we have to do? Whatever the bad thing that we have done in the past, we have to have this ability to forgive ourselves and start all over again. We all have that ability, right? We all have that privilege to start our life again and make it a better one. Okay? So no one is perfect in this world. We all have done mistakes. One thing that we have to do is to forgive and start doing good things. So these are 5 things that we can do to create happiness in our life. And also, there is one happiness that is called the ultimate happiness in this world that the Buddha teaches us. That is called Nibbana or Nirvana. That is the enlightenment. When you realize about the reality of this life, and when you remove this desire or the craving that arises within your mind, then Buddha says that is the ultimate happiness. Simply, the Nibbana means Ragakkayo, Dosakkayo, Mohakkayo, Nibbana. That means removing of the desire, anger, and the delusion of the mind is called the enlightenment. So that is the highest level of happiness that we all can reach. So when you practice these practices, right, when you engage yourself in wholesome state, that will create you the happiness in the life. So practice these things and make your life a happier one. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the concept of karma according to Buddha's teachings. Now, when you hear the word karma, the first question that comes to your mind is, what is karma? What is the meaning of this word? Well, if you take a look at the definition of karma, it gives the meaning of action, right? But in Buddhism, it is more than action. The Buddha said it is intentional action is the karma. In Nibbedika Sutta, Buddha explains this as Chetanahang bhikkhave kammang vadami, chetayitva kammang karoti, kayena vachaya manasa. Monks, I say that intention is the action, or intention is the karma. And intentionally or willingly, one performs actions or karma either physically, mentally, or verbally. That means that intention, chetana, or the intention, plays a greater role behind our karma. Now, according to the intentions, the karma can be divided into 2 types. Buddha said there are kusala karma and akusala karma, wholesome actions and unwholesome actions, right? Now, what is wholesome action? They are the actions, they are the things that we do with wholesome intentions, right? Like we do certain things with wholesome intentions like love and kindness, compassion, patience, serenity, right? When we do certain things from our body, speech, and our mind with wholesome actions, wholesome intentions, we generate karmas that are wholesome. And also there's the other side of the karma, that is unwholesome actions. Okay? Now, akusala karma or unwholesome actions is a broader topic, because so many people think that akusala karma is something that is bad when it comes to unwholesome actions, right? Akusala karma is not only bad, but also there's another hidden meaning behind this. And that is, there are certain things, there are certain actions that we perform during our day-to-day life, right? They're the things that we do in day-to-day life, like talking and writing and like sleeping and traveling. We need actions and we need intentions to do this. Intentionally, we do all the actions, but they're not certainly unwholesome. So the meaning of akusala karma means the actions that do not fall under the wholesome actions or kusala karma. Of course, there is the unwholesome actions or the bad karma or the evil karmas that we do, and also there is other neutral karmas that we perform during our day-to-day life. So they are called the unwholesome actions, right? So based on the intention, the karma can be divided into 2 different parts, and they are wholesome actions and unwholesome actions, kusala karma and akusala karma. Okay? And the word karma does not come alone. It comes with this word, vipaka, or phala, right? Vipaka, the word vipaka gives the meaning of result or outcome. And the word phala gives the meaning of the fruit. Okay? Now, the word phala is a great word to understand about the law of karma. Let's understand about it in this way. Let's say I planted a mango seed on the ground. In few years' time, what do I get? I can have mangoes, right? And also, if I planted a chili seed, in few months' time, what can I get? I can get chili, right? So when we plant something, a seed, it has the potential to give the result in the future, right? If I planted a mango seed, that mango seed has the potential, it has the ability to generate mango fruits in the future. Okay, same like that. If I did a certain karma in this moment, right? If with an intention, if I perform an action in this moment, it has the potential to create a series of experiences in the future, whether it is good or bad, right? So remember, the vipaka is the effect that we are going to get in the future, right? Now, this whole idea behind this law of karma is the law of cause and effect. When we make the conditions for something, then we are going to get the results out of it in the future. Now, the nature of the results highly dependent on the nature of the karma that we perform today. Let's understand about this in this way. Now, I planted the mango seed, right? That mango seed had the power to generate mangoes in the future, right? But if I wish this mango seed to give chilies in the future, no matter how hard I wish, I will never get chili out of it. I get mangoes because it has the nature of generating mangoes. Same like that, right? If I did an action with an intention, it has the power to generate the experiences or the vipakas in the future. So if the nature of this karma that I am performing today has the intention of wholesome, or if I did with a pure mind, a pure intention, it can generate desirable experiences in the future, desirable results in the future, because that is the nature of this seed of karma. In the same way, if I did something unwholesome with an unwholesome intention, I will get unwholesome or undesirable experiences in the future, because it has the nature of generating undesirable experiences in the future. So this is the whole idea behind the law of karma. Now, why do we need to understand about the law of karma and how karma works? Now, if you had a good understanding about the law of karma and how karma works, it is very easy to be compassionate on others, and it is very easy to be compassionate on yourself. Right? There are certain things and certain experiences that happens due to our past karmas, right? Now, according to Buddhism, we believe that we are coming from a long journey of rebirth that is called samsara. Now, in this long samsara, we have performed both good and bad karmas. So in this life, we are going to get some sort of experiences from our past karmas, okay? So if you take a look at that, when the tough times comes, when the problems comes to your mind, sometimes people blame to themselves. People hate themselves and think like, I'm a bad person, right? I'm a bad person. I'm a negative person. No, right? Just because you performed a bad karma doesn't say that you're a bad person, okay? Because each and everyone, we are living in this society, in this world, perform good and bad karma, okay? So we don't want to hate ourselves. We can be compassionate on ourselves, right? Everyone is subjected to this law of karma. And also, if you have a good understanding about the law of karma, it is very easy to be mindful and be in this present moment. Why? Because sometimes we worry about the things that has happened in the past, right? We worry about the things that we have done in the past, and we think like, oh, I did this thing and my whole life is ruined, right? Of course, you cannot change the past, right? That is the truth. You cannot change the past. And also, you cannot stop the outcomes of the things that you have done in the past, or the results or the vipakas that you have done in the past. Okay? You cannot change it. What is within your control and what you can change is this present moment. And if you become mindful about this present moment, then you can create good karma, not the bad ones. So I hope you got a little understanding about the karma and how it works. So until next video, stay happy and stay safe. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, let's talk about how can we practice Buddhism. Should you become a Buddhist, or should you convert to a Buddhist to practice Buddhism? This is what we are going to talk about today. Well, first of all, you have to know and you have to realize what Buddhism is. Buddhism doesn't have much of a religious aspects. It is more of, Buddhism should be understood as a practice or a way of life. Okay? So in that sense, everyone can practice Buddhism. It is open to everyone. There is no one to force to practice Buddhism, or there is no one to force you to believe certain things. So it's quite of a free practice, and you have the independence and you have this freedom to practice Buddhism and practice whatever you feels okay, right? If you like to practice meditations, then it's okay, right? You can practice meditations. If you want to practice generosity, this is one of the basic Buddhist practice. If you want to practice generosity, you can practice that. Okay. And also, if you want to practice the precepts or living the life in a disciplined way, practice the morals, then you can do it. So it is free and it has this freedom to practice. So you don't want to convert to a Buddhist. You don't want to become a Buddhist. In fact, in the Buddha's time, there was no person called Buddhists. Okay, there were no people called Buddhists. Only there was people, and also there were people who practiced the Buddha's teachings or Buddha's path. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. You don't want to become a Buddhist. There is no process of conversion. You can practice, and it is free to everyone. It is open to everyone. Buddha's Dhamma, this is the Buddha's teachings. Dhamma has this quality called ehipassiko. Buddha says that, come and see, right? Come, learn about this, and realize and see this. See the reality of the life. This is what Buddha says. So it is open to everyone. Anyone can practice Buddhism. So there is no exceptions to practice Buddhism. Anyone can do this. So this is what I have to share today. So practice the Buddha's teachings and live a peaceful and a wise life. Namo Buddhaya. Having to go through an experience of losing a loved one can be extremely painful for people. So today, I want to share with you one advice from the Buddha that will help you to ease up and that will help you to deal with this grief of losing a loved one. Okay, this is from Anguttara Nikaya, Thana Sutta, and in this sutta, Buddha mentions, Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti abhinnang pacchavekitabba. Whether you are a male person or a female or a monk or a lay person like you, whoever you are, think that one day I have to be separated from all the loving people and all the loving things around me. This is the reality. Now, this is all about admitting the reality. Normally, we don't like to admit the reality. People run away from realities. They don't like to think about that they are going to die one day. They don't like to think about that they are going to become old one day. They don't like to think about that they are going to be sick one day or get into diseases one day. So this is all about realities, right? In this life, in this very life, right, we all have to face this reality: death, sickness, old age, losing loved ones. These are the realities that we cannot stop, no? You cannot stop it, I cannot stop it, no one can stop it in this world. So one thing that Buddha tells us is admit the reality, see the reality as it is, and try to think about it. Okay, one day I have to be separated from all these people around me, right? There are lots of people around us who are very near and dear, and we love them so much. The reality is one day you and I have to be separated from all these people, no? Or we have to leave them. So what Buddha says is, get ready to face this reality, right? How do you get ready to face this reality? By thinking about this every single day, right? Buddha said, abhinnam paccavekkitabban. Think it frequently, right? I have to be separated from these people around me. One day, that is the reality. When you think about this, there's another big advantage of thinking like this. What is that? When you think about this, you can have that compassion and you can show your love and kindness purely. Why? Because you know that you are not going to be around them for a long time. You know that you are not going to be with them forever. When you know that, and when you know that you have a little time to be with these people around you, then you can show your fullest love and you can show your fullest kindness in this little time. You do your best to do that, right? You do your best to show your love and kindness. So from now onwards, get ready to face this reality, right? When you get ready for that, when you face these situations in real life, you can face them with a strong mind. Most of the time, people face these situations unsuccessfully, all right? They often feel depressed. They become so much sad. Sometimes some people end up suiciding themselves, right? So when you make your mind and to face the reality, when you make your mind strong enough to face the reality, you can move on with your life and you can face that grief successfully. So think about the reality. Don't run away from that, right? Then you will be able to create a happy and a peaceful mind in your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome, you all wonderful people and my dear sons and daughters. Today, we are going to learn about the essence of Buddhism. Now, you may be having a question. What is the essence of Buddhism? What did Buddha really teach to us? Well, the Buddha answers for this question from three separate verses, where you can find them in Dhammapada. If you are wondering what is Dhammapada, Dhammapada is a set of verses which was originally preached by the Buddha in certain occasions due to certain incidents that happened in the Buddha's time. So we have 423 verses in Dhammapada, which are categorized into 26 chapters. And in the 14th chapter, which is known as the Buddha Vagga, which gives the meaning of the chapter of the Buddha preaches and Buddha teaches us about the essence of the advice of the Buddhas, or essence of the Buddhism. Now, first of all, in this video, I'm going to share with you the first verse, and also I'm going to make another 2 videos for the other 2 verses. So from this video, we're going to learn the first verse and the meaning of that verse. So before everything, I'm going to chant it for you. So listen closely, and after that we are going to learn the meaning of it. The verse goes like this. Sambha papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanang etang buddhana sasanang. Okay, let's learn the meaning of that verse. Sabba papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada. Let's take these two lines and learn the meaning. Sabba papassa akaranang. Buddha teaches us, avoid all evil deeds. Avoid all evil things from your life and cultivate the good or the wholesome things in your life. Now, when we think about our mind, when you just think about your mind, it's very prominent, it's very clear that we have a higher sensitivity to negative things, or they're called the evil things like anger, jealous, hatred, selfishness, laziness, ego. All those evil things are very easy to cultivate through this mind, in this mind. Is that true? Yes, that is true, right? It's very easy to get angry. It is very easy to feel jealous. It is very easy to hate someone. So Buddha says, to avoid all evil things, what you have to do, cultivate more wholesome things in your mind. For an example, if you get angry all the time, little by little, try to practice the love and kindness. Try to practice the patience in your mind. That is what Buddha says. So what you have to do to avoid evil things, you have to cultivate more good things. That is the only way that we can avoid the evil things from our mind. To avoid any kind of bad habit, the only way is to replace that bad habit with a good one. Practice something good in the time that when you are about to do an evil thing. So that is what Buddha said. To avoid all the evil things, cultivate more wholesome qualities like love and kindness, patience, tolerance, and unselfishness, compassion, dedication, courage. So when you take about these wholesome qualities, it is very hard to practice. It's very hard to have the love and kindness inside your mind for a long time. We feel angry with people. But although these things are hard and difficult to do, what we have to do is we have to practice it little by little. We will fail, we will fall, we will cry. But we should not give up. That is what Buddha said. So to avoid all the evil things and to cultivate more wholesome qualities, and also Buddha said, sachitta pariyodapana, to cleanse one's mind. Now Buddha taught us, when you get these evil thoughts, these are called the defilements, right? The greed, the hatred, and the ego, or which we called the delusion. These three defilements makes our mind impure. Buddha said that the normal nature, by nature, our mind is very pure and it's very bright. But when we have this incoming defilements like greed, anger, and delusion, selfishness, what happens to our mind is it becomes impure. So to make your mind pure and cleanse it, cultivate the wholesome qualities in your life. Buddha said, etang buddhana sasanang. This is the advice of the Buddhas to this world. So see how peaceful advice that the Buddha gave to this world. So everyone can practice this, right? There is no religious difference. There is no any bounds or any rules to practice this. Anyone can. We all can practice this, right? So when we practice, what happens to our life? We get happiness, right? We get that self-happiness about our life. So many people out there, they don't have that ability to be happy about themselves because they are doing these evil things. These evil things bring the sadness and the suffering and the regret to our life. So easily, the Buddha said, instead of doing evil things, try to practice something wholesome, something good. So what we all have to do, regardless of any kind of religion, we have to cultivate more good deeds and good emotions and good intentions, good thoughts inside our mind. As a result, surely we will get the happiness to our life. So do good and be good. Namo Buddhaya. Once in the Buddha's time, there lived a woman named Kisa Gautami. She had a son whom she loved with all of her life. But unfortunately, one day her son died because of an incurable disease. Kisa was so sad she did not wanted to accept her son's death. So she carried her son's body all around the village, finding if anyone could bring her son back to life. At first, people tried to help her. They said, Kisa, you have to accept your son's death. You have to make some arrangement for his funeral. But Kisa wasn't ready to accept her son's death. She said, no, he's not dead. The only reason he's not talking and he's not smiling is because he has a disease. So she wasn't ready to accept it. So she went from one village to another, finding if anyone could bring her son back to life. Then she met with this old and wise man. And this wise man said, Kisa, I cannot help you in this situation. I cannot help you in this problem, but I know one person who could help you. Do you see that monastery over there? You go to that monastery and you meet the Buddha. Maybe he can help you in this situation. So Kisa ran to the monastery and fell in front of the Buddha and begged and said, Oh my Lord, my son has fallen sick. He's not talking. He's not smiling like early. Please, cure my son's disease. Then the Buddha listened to Kisa's tragic story and said, Kisa, I can help you. Kisa was delighted to hear that. Then Kisa said, Oh Lord, what should I do? Tell me anything, I will do it for this. Then the Buddha said, Kisa, you need to find a medicine for your son. Go and find a handful of mustard from a family where no one has ever died. Kisa thought that this was easy to find. So she ran to the village and went to the first house and said, I need a handful of mustard from you. Please give it to me. By the way, has anyone died in this family? Then people said, Oh, I'm sorry. My father died yesterday. Then she went to the next house. The reply was, My son died last year. Then she went to the next house. Then they said, Oh, my uncle died yesterday. This was the reply that all she got from every house. Then she started to think, every time I go to a house, I heard this word, death, died, he left us, he passed away. Maybe Death is a common experience for all of us. Maybe I cannot take my son's life back to normal. Then she went to the Buddha. Then the Buddha said, Kisa, you've learned a valuable lesson today. Death is a common experience for all of us. The only thing that we can do is only to accept it. So you have to live your life in a meaningful way. Now let go of your sorrow and sadness. So Kisa let go of her sorrow and sadness, and she started to live a meaningful life from that day onwards. She had a new understanding about the death and life from that day onwards. So we all have to remember that death is a natural part of life, and losing loved ones is a natural part of life. We all have to go through loss and grief of our loved ones at some points in our life. That is the reality of this world. We cannot deny it, but we can do something better to make us feel better. That is to cherish the memories of our loved ones when they lived with us. Okay? So when we do that, we can find the peace and we can move forward with hope and gratitude. So let's live our life in a meaningful way about the death and life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Today, let's talk about how to have a better sleep and a healthy sleep. Now, sleep is something that we all struggled, and we all have struggled in all of our lives, right? And there are many people in this world who struggle with sleeping. They go to bed and they don't find sleep. Sometimes they wake up in the middle of the night for no reason. Okay. Sometimes when they wake up in the morning, they feel miserable and tired even more. Okay. So there are a lot of problems with sleep. So in this video, I am going to share with you 3 tips that we monks practice in order to have a better sleep, right? This is in our daily routine. So without any further ado, let's dive into the video. Tip number 1. The first thing that you have to do is to wind down for your bed. Okay, that means sleep is something that we have to approach gradually and peacefully. It's like you're getting ready for an occasion, right? Now, for an occasion, maybe an interview or a meeting, what do? You get ready, right? You get your clothes done, you get your documents done, and you get ready for it. Same like that, sleep is an important occasion in our day. So what we have to do, we have to get ready for it. Okay, so how can we get ready? So here are a few things that you can practice to wind down for your bed. The first thing that you have to do is to have a light meal for your dinner. Now for the monks, this is not a problem because we don't have our dinner. We only have 2 meals per day, right? Some monks have 1 meal per day. Normally we have 2 meals per day, that is breakfast and lunch. We don't have the dinner, okay? So have a light meal for your dinner and eat at least 4 to 3 hours before the bed, before your sleep time. Now when you do this, your digestion is over and it is finished and it is at rest. Now you can go to the bed peacefully and drink enough water before you go to bed, okay? And also, this is something that many people do, right? Do not bring your mobile phone or laptop or any device that you're using to the bed, right? There are many people who use, right? There are thousands of people who use their mobile phone on their bed before sleep, okay? Sometimes you scroll and scroll and scroll, and so finally you find that it is 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the night, in the morning. Don't do that. So what do you have to do? Avoid as much as possible this screen time, blue light screen and everything, avoid them, okay? Because these screens and these lights stimulates our brain, okay? If you can be relaxed and listen to a meditation music or a calming music, then that's better, okay? So you have to wind down before sleep. And another thing that you can do is to have a shower, right? If it is a cold shower, then it is much better. Or if you cannot have a cold shower, then have a lukewarm water shower. Okay, cleaning your body will help you to wind down and make your body feel relaxed. Okay, then even your mind feel peaceful. Okay, so this is how we wind down for our bed. Tip number 2 is to practice the gratitude. Right now, we monks, when we go to the bed, right, we just sit on the bed and we close our eyes and think the people, and we recall all the people who have helped in our life, right? They may be your parents, they may be your relatives, your husband, your wife, your children, or there are certain things that we feel grateful for. So what do you have to do? Be grateful for them, right? Simply say thank you for all of them, right? Remember and recall all the people who have helped you in your way, in your life journey, and be thankful for them in your mind. That is something that we can do, because gratitude is a powerful emotion. If you generate it, you feel the happiness within your mind, and it will help you to have a peaceful sleep. So tip number 2 is to practice gratitude. And finally, as tip number 3, what you have to do is to recall a good deed that you have done earlier. This is something that I personally do before every day, before I'm going to bed. I recall all the good deeds that I have done during the day, good things that I have done during the day, and also I recall the good things that I have done in the past. Okay, so it is always good to keep one good deed or few good deeds in your mind that you have done in the past to make you feel happy. When you recall them, you can feel happy about them. I personally have 2 good deeds in my life. Among every other good deed, these 2 good deeds help me a lot to feel much more happy. They may be not big things, but you feel so much happy when you think that you have done it. Okay? It can be a little act of kindness, right? It can be giving some little food to an animal or a person that makes you feel happy. Before every time you go to bed, what you have to do is to recall all the good deeds, good things that you have done in the past. Now, when you do this, you will feel a very positive self-esteem in your mind, right? You feel that your life is worthy and you have done good deeds, right? You are a good person, because there are many people, they go to bed regretting about their life. Okay, remember, no matter how hard or tough your life becomes, there is always positive things in your life. There are always good things that you have done in your life. The only thing that we have to do is to recall them, right? The more we remember the good things that we have done, the more we become happy. That is one result of doing good things. So these are the few things that we can do to practice to have a better and a healthy sleep. So as a summary, what you have to do is, first thing, wind down, relax your mind before you go to bed. Number 2, practice gratitude. And finally, number 3, recall the good things that you have done in your day and in your life. If you do these things and if you practice these things, I can assure that you will have a peaceful and a healthy and a better sleep. So practice these things and have a peaceful night. Namo Buddhaya. When a mother loves her only child, she loves that child unconditionally, without any exceptions, without any expectations. Same like that, you have to spread the same kindness, same love, and same compassion towards all living beings in this world, without any exceptions, without any reservations. So the way to do that is, you have to generate a mind of thinking like, may my enemies be well and happy. May they live long. May they live a happy life. May my friends be happy. May they live long. May they live a happy life. May everyone in this world, without any exception, without any bound, May all living beings in this world be well and happy. May they live long. May they live happily. So when you spread that mind of love and kindness, that is called the purest form of love and kindness in this world. All the other loves and kindnesses are based on conditions, based on expectations. It's saying like, if you're loving me only, I'm going to love you. But in true love and in pure love, it's not like that. He's saying, or he or she is saying, that I need everyone to be happy. I need everyone to be happy in their lives without any expectations. That is the purest form of love. So you have to have a great practice and great dedication, right? And you have to have a great mindset to practice this purest form of love. But you can achieve this by practicing it little by little, step by step, and applying this love and kindness to your practical life. So practice this love and kindness practice as a daily basis. Maybe like whenever you get up in the morning, just sit on the bed, just close your eyes, take a deep breath in, let it out, and think, may everyone in this world be well and happy. May my enemies be well and happy. I am forgiving them. Today, I choose to forgive them. That is how you practice this little step of pure love and pure kindness. So practice it and feel it, that you are feeling the peacefulness inside. So make your life much more better with love and kindness. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 signs that you're having a toxic friendship. Now, before we discuss about these things, I have to mention and I have to say that the sole purpose of this discussion is not to attack on someone's personal life, not to criticize someone or not to judge someone, but to understand that mistakes can happen from everyone. We make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But we have to be wise when we deal with people, because the most important thing in our life is the peacefulness in our mind and the mental health. So with that in your mind, let's dive into today's video. So the first sign of a toxic relationship is they are only willing to take something from you, but they are not willing to give anything, right? Remember, when it is a friendship or if it is a relationship, it must be a give and take process. That means when you give something, they must give something back. Okay? When relationships and friendships become a one-way road, it is very painful. That is why when you spot such a friend, the first thing that you have to do is do not be too quick to judge them. Because sometimes people are going through tough times in their life, right? Sometimes they are suffering personally. They're not in a good condition to help you. So what you have to do is you have to look for the person behind the actions. You have to look for the intention behind their words. Okay? So if you really found such a sign in your friendship, what you have to do is set your boundaries. Okay? Limit your boundaries. And you have to decide whether I'm going to let this person to enter to my life or whether I'm not going to let him enter to my life. So keep that in your mind. That is the first sign. Then let's move to the second sign. The second sign is they only talk, but they are not willing to help you in actions. Okay? This is a friendship that is based only on words. Okay? They will praise you and they will be nice to you, right? They will say and they will give you promises to you, but only with the words, but not with actions. Remember, actions speak louder than words. So if it is a friendship, you must be a friend from your words as well as from your actions. Okay, that is the second sign. They only talk, but they are not willing to help you with actions. Moving on to the third sign, we have flattering friends. Flattering friends are the people who talk nice things about you in front of you. They will praise you, they will compliment you, but they are not afraid to put you down behind your back. Okay? You have to be very careful when you deal with such people. We should not hate anyone. We should not be angry with these people. What you have to do is you have to understand about the nature of people, nature of the intentions of the people, and forgive them, right? Forgive them and use your wisdom to stay away from their negativity. And that is the real meaning of kindness, to forgive someone and to stay away from people's negativity. So when you spot flattering friends, it's okay to be with them, it's okay to talk with them, but you have to be wise when you deal with such people. And finally, we have evil helpers. Evil helpers are the people who helps you in doing bad things. That means when you're about to do a bad thing, or when you're about to do a thing that is not good for your life and for your mental health, they will help you in doing it. Right? They will feel your anger. They will feel your jealousy. Okay? They will help you in doing bad things that brings the regret to your life. Right? So you should be very careful, and you should stay away from these people. So these are the 4 signs that you're having a toxic friendship. Now, why should we become so much aware of these friends and these signs? Because, do you know, our characters shaped by the people who we associate, right? There's a saying, it says, you are the average of 5 people that you are associating closely. That means we become who we associate. Therefore, surround yourself with positive people and the people who can uplift you and support you. And finally, remember that you deserve positive and healthy friendships that supports your life and your personal growth. Keep it in your mind. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Another year is coming to an end, and another new year is going to start. Now you may be thinking about, oh, this monk is going to talk about New Year resolutions, or how to start the new year in a more positive and a more correctly, right? None of them. I'm not going to talk about all those things. In fact, you all know all of your resolutions, what you're going to do in this new year. But today, I'm here to share with you a wonderful spiritual practice that you need to start doing in this new year. And also, not only during the new year, not only on January 1st, but also this should be made a practice that you should do every single day. This should be made a daily practice. So what is this spiritual practice that I'm going to share with you today? I call it the silent help. What is it? The silent help. Now, what is the silent help? Silent help is a help that you give to a person without them asking you to do a help, right? So the reason why I'm going to share this about this spiritual practice is because the other day I was reading the biography of the chief disciple of the Supreme Buddha. The chief disciple of the Supreme Buddha's name was Arahant Sariputra. Arahant Sariputra's character was so much inspirational and so much wonderful that Buddha himself advised the monks that you should live like Sariputra. You should make your role model in your life the Sariputra. So his character is so much inspirational and so much wonderful. And there is this one story that I was so much, it felt into my heart. I felt that into my heart, that it says that one morning that Arahant Sariputra came out of the room, getting ready to go on the alms round. And then he saw the junior monks. They are cleaning the monastery. They are cleaning the compounds. They are cleaning the halls, and they are cleaning the rooms. What Arahant Sariputra did was, he kept his alms bowl aside and grabbed a broom and started cleaning with them, joined them and started cleaning with them. And then after that, after a little while, he kept his broom aside and took his alms bowl again and went on alms round. Now I was wondering that none of the junior monks, none of those monks asked to do that help for them, right? None of them. In fact, no one will ask from a great person like Arahant Sariputta to do such an help, right? Such a help. But Arahant Sariputta understood that what these junior monks are doing. So he thought to offer a little help for them. And that little help meant so much. Maybe it has been meant so much for those junior monks, because he is the greatest role model for all of the monks community, but he joined with these junior monks to clean. In the same way, that was a silent help, right? That was a silent help. That meant so much for the person who is receiving that help. So this is the silent help that we all need to practice, right? We need to help someone during the day without waiting them to ask that to do the help for them, right? For an example, let's say you're at home and you're coming out of your room and you see one member of your family is cleaning the house. What you can do? Maybe you can grab a glass of water and give it to that person. Maybe you can clean some places. Maybe you can help them with cleaning some mats and rugs on the floor, right? That is a little help that you give to that person, but they didn't ask you to do that. Now, the reason why we should practice this silent help is because a help that was given without the person asking to do that help is so much powerful than a help that was asked to do, right? Because behind that help, behind that action, there are a lot of wonderful qualities like understanding. There is a quality of the love, compassion, right? Generosity, right? Kindness. These qualities are behind that action, right? When you do such things, it will be a great help to build up great qualities like kindness and compassion within you, right? So in this new year, I need all of you to have a resolution into your mind that also, while pursuing this material happiness in this world, we also need to have some resolutions and some goals to pursue our spiritual goals as well. So I invite all of you to do a silent help to a person every single day, right? Whenever possible, find a way to do a help to a person without them asking you to do that. And also, after doing this help, I need you to do one thing. To deliberately be happy of the help that you did, of the action that you did, right? This is something that we oftenly don't do. What is it? Deliberately being happy of what we do, right? Because happiness is not something that comes automatically out of nowhere. It doesn't appear. We have to make it happen. You have to think it in that way. So in the same way, we have to help someone without them. We have to give a silent help, and also we have to deliberately be happy of what we did. This is one spiritual practice. This is a simple spiritual practice that you can add to your life in this new year. Okay? So you may be thinking, that is a little thing. No, it is not, right? And also you may be thinking, does that include into spirituality? Well, some people say, okay, spirituality is all about meditating. Now, spirituality is not only about meditating. Spirituality is also about giving. Spirituality is also about dedicating your life, your time, your energy towards the benefit of other people. So in this new year, let's start practicing this wonderful yet simple spiritual practice and make this year a happier and a more peaceful one. So I wish you, by the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may all of you be healthy, may all of you be happy, may all of your dreams come true, and may all of you be able to realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautam Buddha's dispensation. Namo Buddhaya.